I know well the grasp of hopelessness and despair that comes from living in abject poverty. I know because it's how I grew up. I grew up very poor in the woods of Northeast Texas. But over my life, what I've learned is that regardless of where your wealth scale might be, regardless of if you're living in poverty or if you're living in opulence, the principles stay the same. It's not the size of your bank account that determines if you are blessed or if you are stressed. Is the money that you have, is the wealth that you've acquired being used for a purpose that brings you joy? And if it is being used for a purpose that brings you joy, it can be great wealth or it can be low wealth, and you can still have a life filled with purpose that brings hope and that brings joy. Our third box, as we look today at the four quadrants of archetype wealth management and how we approach helping our clients to thrive across generations by matching their wealth with their purpose, is the box we call family. And we've talked about strategy, and you may be familiar with that. Most wealth management firms do some form of strategy. And we've talked about investments, and obviously that's something you would expect from a wealth management firm. But now we're going to talk about our family quadrant, and I dare say that there aren't a lot of places you're going to find who approach this issue at all, much less the way that we do. You see, we want to ask the question, is your wealth a source of blessing or a source of stress for you and your family? And we do that by having a multi-generational approach. We don't talk to just the people who control the bank accounts that have money in them. We want to talk to multiple generations, especially true when there are adult children who are involved in the picture. Out of those conversations, we want to dive deep. We want to help the family to define their mission, their vision, and their values together, to understand what it is that they are all about. During that time, we want to empower marital and family harmony around the areas of wealth. You know, wealth brings a lot of great things with it, but it can also bring some very negative things. And as we begin to find areas where there's stress, maybe it's in the marriage, maybe it's in a child who's gone wayward, then we want to work with that family to bring in outside resources, people who can help the family to have healing and wholeness around their wealth. After we've done that, we want to equip all the generations to be able to communicate effectively together and with each other around the finances that the family has. And then we want to help them to write a family wealth purpose statement. Why do you have everything that you have? What is your purpose? Because we want to, in the end, help you to maximize your purpose beyond just maximizing your balance. That's where meaning truly comes from. That's where life has joy. That's where your family will find the greatest sense of connectedness, living on mission to achieve a purpose, to transform the world and make it a better place. And you can do that while also having some of the things you've dreamed of, the material possessions that you've wanted. But it starts by sitting down and having a true conversation about these important things. So we've looked at strategy, we've looked at investments. Today we've talked about the way that we want to approach working with the family. Tomorrow we're going to talk about our fourth and final quadrant. We're going to look at how do we put all this together then so that you can begin to create a legacy.